Delilah asked Samson how to destroy him. She asked to his face 4 separate times, and every time she told him exactly what she meant to do with the answer. 3 times he lied to her. The 4th time he told her everything. The book of Judges places her in the valley of Sorek. It is a border. The Judean hills fall away westward into the Philistine plain, and Sorek is the seam between them, a river valley that belongs to neither side and is walked by both. The name itself is a vine, a variety of choice red grape. This is terraced country. Low stone walls, cut hillsides, the smell of dust and fruit, a long way from anybody's palace. To the west lay the 5 Philistine cities, Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron. Each had a ruler, and their title is not a Hebrew word. The text calls them lords, and they move as one body. They arrive together, they decide together, and when the time comes, they pay together. To the east was Israel, and Israel had Samson. He judged for 20 years. He is the only judge in the book whose birth is announced by an angel, and the only one set apart before he was born. The terms were given to his mother. The child shall be a Nazirite unto God from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines. That vow had 3 conditions: no wine, no contact with the dead, no razor. By the time Delilah is named, he has reached into the carcass of a lion, taken honey out of it, and eaten. He has held a feast at Timnah. The word for that feast is built on the root for drinking. Whether he drank, the text does not say. What is not in question is that the razor was the last term still standing, and there is one more thing this story does before Delilah ever speaks. It names her. Samson's mother is not named. The woman of Timnah is not named. The woman at Gaza, in the first verse of chapter 16, is not named. And then a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. In Hebrew narrative, a name marks someone who acts. The one woman this story is remembered for reducing to a body is the only one it troubled to name. Chapter 16, verse 4. He loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. The verse records what he felt. It records nothing about what she felt, not there and not anywhere after. Then the lords of the Philistines come up to her. Entice him, they say, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him. And we will give thee, every one of us, 1,100 pieces of silver, every one of us, 5 lords, 1,100 each, 5,500 pieces of silver. It is difficult to overstate that figure. 1 chapter later, a household in the hill country hires a Levite to serve as its household priest for 10 pieces of silver a year. And in that same chapter, a woman has 1,100 shekels of silver taken from her. The same unusual number in the same book, a few dozen verses apart. Whether that is design or coincidence cannot be settled. It is worth noticing. It is not worth building on. Now, the word they hand her. Chapter 16 opens at Gaza, where the narrator says of a woman there that Samson went in unto her. The text is plainly capable of saying that. 3 verses later, Delilah is named, and it never says it again. Not of her, not once. The verb the Lords use, entice, covers a wide field in Hebrew. It runs from persuade and coax through to something much closer to seduce. Exodus uses it one way. Judges itself uses it another, 2 chapters earlier. The range is real, and the text does not narrow it. What the text does name is her instrument. She pressed him daily with her words. The first time, she simply asks, "Tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee." Read that again. The objective is inside the question. Bound, afflicted. She is not drawing a secret out of him under cover of something else. She is describing the job to the man she has been hired to do it to. He tells her, 7 green withs that were never dried. The Lords bring them up to her themselves. There are men waiting in the chamber. She says, "The Philistines be upon thee, Samson." And he breaks the cords as a thread of tow is broken when it toucheth the fire. He breaks free in a room that had armed men waiting in it, men who were there with her. He stays. The second time, she does not pretend otherwise. "Behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound." New ropes, never used. He breaks them from off his arms like a thread. The third time, he gives her his hair. "Weave the 7 locks of my head with the web," he says, a lie with the truth folded inside it. He is edging toward it himself. He wakes and walks out, carrying the pin of the beam and the web with it. The fourth time, she changes instruments. "How canst thou say, I love thee, when thine heart is not with me? Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lieth." She counts. She says 3, and she is right. And she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death. Daily, the text says, and gives no span. Days, weeks, a season, we are not told. Then he told her all his heart. "There hath not come a razor upon mine head, for I have been a Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man." None of this was new to him. That is the part the retellings lose. 2 chapters earlier, Samson had married a woman of Timnah, and at the wedding feast he set his 30 companions a riddle, 30 linen garments and 30 changes of raiment riding on the answer. 3 days in, they could not solve it, so they went to his wife. "Entice thy husband," they told her, "that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire." Entice. The same verb the 5 lords will hand to Delilah in chapter 16. The same commission. The same kind of woman in the same border country 2 chapters before. She wept before him the 7 days of the feast, and on the 7th day he told her, and she told her people. He went down to Ashkelon and killed 30 men, so he had already seen the whole shape of it. A woman he loved, a Philistine commission, a secret given up to persistence, and bodies at the end of it. The contrast between the 2 women is worth holding carefully. The woman of Timnah was threatened with fire. Delilah is offered silver. The text is willing to record coercion when coercion happens, and it records none in chapter 16. But it also records nothing of Delilah's fear, or her willingness, or her reasons. The silence runs in both directions. It is not evidence in either. And in the end, doing what they asked did not save the first woman. The Philistines burned her and her father with fire. When Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent for the lords. "Come up this once," she says, "for he hath showed me all his heart." And they came up and brought money in their hand. She knew. 3 lies and a truth, and she could tell which was which. She had been counting the whole time, and she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man, and she caused him to shave off the 7 locks of his head. She called for a man. The most reproduced image in this entire story, Delilah with the blade in her hand, leaning over him, is not in the verse. Then, "The Philistines be upon thee, Samson." And he woke, and said he would go out as at other times before, and shake himself. And he wist not that the Lord was departed from him. That is the sentence the chapter was built to reach, and it is not about hair. Whether the hair was a true condition, or only the last visible term of a vow he had already taken apart himself, the text leaves standing. It notes that the hair grew again. It gives him one prayer at the end. They took him and put out his eyes, and brought him down to Gaza, and bound him with fetters of brass, and he did grind in the prison house. Gaza, where the chapter opened, the city he had walked into freely. Delilah's last words in scripture are in verse 20. She is not in verse 21. She is not in the rest of Judges. She is nowhere else in the Bible. No death, no judgment, no verdict, and not one word about her face. Every ending you have heard for her was supplied later by people who could not leave the gap alone. The woman remembered for her beauty is never described, and the woman remembered for deceiving him told him the truth about her intentions 4 times. 4 times he came back. Judges gives Samson 20 years and 4 chapters. It gives Delilah 19 verses, 1 name, and no ending at all. What it never gives her is the scene we remember, the one where she wins by hiding something. In the text, she hides nothing. If this one held you, go back to episode 15. Rahab, another woman on the wrong side of Israel's border, negotiating with men who held her life in their hands. She asked for terms as well. Hers were kept. She is written. Read her again.